So the first thing I do when I've opened my books, I sort all the pieces out that I need to make each individual card so that they are ready to do each one. So for instance, this little one here, it needed the little, is actually a medium-sized yellow flower. It needed that greeting box and 2 leaves. So I put all those together so that I know that that's what I need to make that card, which shows you there. So I do that for all 4, and there's 3 of each design, so I do that for all of them, which is what I've got here. So I'm going to just pop this to one side now, and I will just start with this one here. Oh, pink is one of my favourite colours. I actually had my colours done by a professional. My friend Sean is House of Colour representative, and she did my colours, and before I had my colours done I got everything pink. I wore everything pink. I just love pink. However, I turned out to be an autumn, and a deep rich autumn at that, so there isn't actually an awful lot of pink in that. So I'm now raspberry and coral and orange and those sort of colours, but I still like pink. So these pink flowers, all these lovely colours on these on this kit is right up my street. I love flowers. Okay, so first of all, back to the kit and not my colours. You've got the card base there, so you've got the line, the fold line there, so you fold that over and you push that down. I actually use a bone folder. This is a bone folder, just to make the seam really tight, sharp so it lies flatter. So then you take this piece. So this one here is going to be from this one. So all the instructions really are there. You just look at the picture, so you know that. And these are glue dots that come with the kit. So you turn that over to the wrong side, and you just take the paper off these glue dots like so, and you put glue dots over. You tend to put them over because this is vellum. This here is a vellum. You can see through them. However, because we've got the big flower going at the middle, if you put the glue dots under where this flower is going to be, you're not going to see them. So I'll just show you that. So you put the glue dots under. Like that. So these are quite fiddly, but we get there in the end. This tool I'm using here is called a pokey tool. So I'm putting it basically down the centre because that's where the flower is going to go. So you're not going to see these little dots. Over. One at the bottom, better put one at the top to keep it in place. There you go. One at the top. So you can see from that, got a few glue dots going on there. So you just pop this on the centre. So you pretty much put it so that you've got the same sort of border at the top, the bottom and the sides. So you pop that down first, get that out of your way, tidy up later. So that's that one there. Then you get your flower, and then the dimensionals that I was talking about before. So they are foam backed, and so I don't know if you can see that. So they come in like hexagon shape. So you pop one out, it's sticky on the back, and you pop this on the front. I'm not very sparing with these. I'm a little bit naughty. I probably put too many on. A lot of my friends are much more sparing, but I like to make sure that it's nice and secure. So I put 4 on there evenly around. What we usually say is if you pop it on there and there's no bits that are definitely going to fall down, or you know there's big gaps where it could easily fall into a hole, but I think that's pretty even. So you take that off, the backing off there. And you pop that in the centre there. So you see from that all the glue dots underneath that's holding this vellum down. You can't see anymore because you've got a lovely big flower on the top. Then you're going to take a little bit of this ribbon. It's actually, it almost feels a bit like metallic. It's not like very soft ribbon. So when it's been curled up like that, I tend to pull it out so it's not quite so curly. So I need to make a bow now. So when I make my bows, I have a piece like this, and you do like a rabbit ear and a rabbit ear, like so. Then you take that rabbit ear round through the loop at the bottom like that and pull it tight. So then to make, because obviously that's a lot bigger loop than that one, so you pull the loop, these down now until the size of the loop that you actually want it to be. Now the idea is that you're going to put that down like that, and that's going to go up like that. So you pull the middle tighter. Now we want these quite big so that they do, because you want them to see them. So if you put a glue dot, just get my scissors, if you get, so if you put a glue dot in the centre of the knot, trusty glue dots again. It like sticking to my nails, that's for sure. Come on, they got to last me till I can see my nail lady again. Behave. So you pop that on there. Probably have to put so you've got 2 glue dots on the base there now that you can see. So turn that over and you just put that on there. You make that a little bit smaller. So that can come down like that. That can come down like that. So it looks like a proper bow now. And then we put that over there. So what we do now, this is, I love grid paper. This is my best friend. It keeps all your stuff straight. So what I do, I know not everybody does this, but what I do is with my grid paper, so I'm going to, I think this was a thank you card, so I'm going to put the thank you, take it off there. So I line up the thank you, I don't know, I think you can see that. So line up the thank you so that it's along the line, the thank in you, the Y comes a bit below, which is fine. And then I get my block, that's part of the kit, and I put it over the top. I don't put it straight on. Make sure that then the block is lined up with another one of the grid paper lines. Push it down, then you know that you've got that pretty much straight on there. Then when you come to stamp onto your sentiment box here, I put that inside the grid paper, turn it over. So then you get your don't know how strong my nails are actually. This is your Misty Moonlight, this is called. It's a beautiful blue. So because it's a small block ink and the stamp is bigger, I will use this the ink down onto. If you had a bigger pad, I would do it this way, but I'm going to do it this way. So you can see it's all covered, and then I think you can see if I pop it up there onto the bigger line, you'll be able to see better. And then I line that up like that, and just hold it for, I don't know, a few seconds, a minute, just to make sure that the ink is transferred onto the cardstock underneath. And then you put it off, and there you go, got thank you on there. Now you can wash, use baby wipes to clean off your ink. I do it straight away because otherwise I get ink everywhere. Stampin' Up actually sell a Stampin' Scrub, which I absolutely love. So you have two sides to it. So that's what it looks like. You have two sides to it. And you have Stamping Mist. So one side is for wet and this is for dry. So you spray your mist on there and then you clean off your stamp and then you dry it off there on the dry side. I always then stamp it on there just to make sure there's no residue, and that's all gone. So when I use that again on a different colour, there's no blue left on it. So and I'll put that one back. Back in there. So then the last part of this is, that's you. Put this up on dimensionals. So with this one, because it's going to go over the top of this here, I would just put 2 dimensionals on, one each side, and then get this over the top. And then just to finish that off so it doesn't go down below the card, I would cut that off there and there. So you have, and there's your thank you card, and it took seconds to do, and then you've got plenty of room to write in there. So another thing that's nice to do is to put a little stamp inside, because we have a leaf and a flower in here. I think the leaf's really pretty, so I'm going to ink up the leaf again in I'll do it in the colour that they have in the kit. But if you have other colours and you have green in your any kit you've got, then by all means do it with the green. So what I'm going to do is I've inked that up. I'm just going to pop it inside. So I'll pop it there, just hold it down. And then I'm going to turn it, not inking it up anymore, just using the residue ink that's left, and pop it down there. So you've got a little, like a two-tone leaf in the bottom, just so that's not quite so plain in there. And then that's your card, one of your cards done already, and plenty of room to write your thank you or your little message. And people just appreciate getting cards, don't they? They appreciate getting thank you cards for if you've given a gift, if they've given you a gift, or if they've done something nice for you, or just for being your friend, So that is card number 1. Hope you like this one. So this next card is a very quick, easy one actually. It's probably the quickest one. I made one a bit earlier just so that you can see, because what I wanted to show you is that just because this is the one that matches the one that they did, that Stampin' Up prepared for you earlier, and so I made that earlier for you to see with Hello Dear Friend. But I just wanted to show you that you don't have to use that sentiment. You may want to just make it as a note for somebody. So what I've done is just to show you that this, just a little note, fits on here too. So I'm going to make mine. So first of all, we fold the card on the seam, put it down, and I'll use my bone folder. If you don't have a bone folder, I think, a side of a ruler or something, just to hold that down so it's firm. So I will stamp, again, I use my grid paper. You don't need to use grid paper, it's just, I do like things to be as straight as possible. I don't like it wonky, so I find it easy using grid paper. So I just get my little ink pot and ink up the stamp. So make sure it's all covered. So I'll make sure it's all covered with ink, and then hold it down, and then place it, so pop it in the middle, and as before, just hold it down on there for probably 30 seconds. It's just so that the ink transfers down onto the cardstock evenly. Try not to rock it, because if you rock the block backwards and forwards, sometimes it can smudge. So it's just, if you place it down, then just hold it down and lift it off, and there's just a note. Again, I'm going to clean that off. You can, I've said before, you can use baby wipes to clean them off. I use the Stampin' Scrub. It's very quick, very easy. And then I just put it off so that there's no residue on there. So all you need really to do this card is, so you need 2 leaves, 2 lots of leaves. So one goes down that way, and then one will go down that way like that. Oh, like that. And then this pops on here like so. And then this flower will go down there like that. So what we do with that is we will glue dot these. So I don't put it on every leaf, so I put it on this. So I'll put it over here so you can see better. Put it on that one. Put it on that middle stem and just roll it so it's not going over. That, so you've got a bit on there, and then I'll put one on the top one. I think I leave those 2 loose so they got a bit more give on them when they're on the card. Just so pop that on there and turn it over and just pop it like that. And do exactly the same with this one here. So this one then goes down here. So you've got one sticking out like that. There you go, like that one there. Put this one on dimensionals. So all the dimensionals are in the box as well, so you don't need to. So I tend to put them, I think I'll put, I'm not going to put them right on the edges. Put one in the middle there, just so there's not. I'm not going to put them right on the edges because of the leaves that they're going to have to cover. So just pop that in there. So there. Okay, so take the backings off. And pop. So it goes up quite high, like so. It's quite easy because you've got the lines, so you can use those lines there to see, make sure this goes level. And then with this one, so you just really want to put couple at the bottom because that make it high, and then this will sit on the sentiment already. So just make sure this, I'm putting these at the bottom. Like that. And then you just take off that one and that one and pop that on there. And there, got a beautiful little card. I mean, that took seconds to make, didn't it? No time at all. And again, you can always do what we did with this card. You can ink up your leaves and pop a couple of little leaves in there just to brighten up the inside up. So that's a very quick, very easy one to do. So that's that one there. So for the next card, I've started prepping a bit for the time of the video really. So I'm going to go with this one here, You Make My Heart Smile. Again, if you don't like that sentiment, then you can use a different one. I did just check it out, and just a little note will also fit on this piece of cardstock. It'll be a tighter fit, but it still works. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put glue dots on the back of this vellum piece because this is the vellum piece we're going to use. And we need to put some ribbon around the back of it. So I've put some in place. So the glue dots will hold the ribbon in place. So this is the back you're looking at now. I'm just going to put another glue dot onto the centre of that piece there, so it holds it. So you've got that held in place in two different places there. And then we're going to pop this a little bit more towards the top. So the top and the sides are pretty much the same, and then the bottom bit here, you've got a bit more leeway here because this is where the flowers are going to go, and you've also got your sentiment going to go in there as well. So I put dimensionals on those two. This one here, so these two I've put dimensionals on, but this one here, because it sits on top of the where the sentiment's going, I put glue dots on this one so it'll sit, you'll see when we've done it. So you pop that round and then you tie a bow. So I personally think it's going to be easier to pop some glue dots on there, and just, if I just show you, so we'll pop some glue dots there so that it's going to come along. It just holds it in place. It's quite springy, this ribbon. These glue dots will hold it, come on, hold it more in place there and there. Then I'm going to make a loop round, and I'm going to put a glue dot there because you're not actually going to see any of this because the sentiment is going to be over the top of it. So if I pop, that's going to go round like, oh, come here. It's going to go round like that, and I'm going to pop up there so that this sticks on there. So you're actually only going to see that loop because it's going to come up there like that. And then I'm going to pop this piece down here. I'm going to bring it down here. So I'm going to put another glue dot on here. Get my arm out of the way. So it'll come round here, and then we'll do a loop. So then we will come round here, put one there, and we'll do a loop down like so here. So if I cut that little bit off there, so you can manipulate this ribbon to how and where you want it, and it's not going to, come on. It's sticking everywhere bar where I want it. There, so I'm going to put that there. So then this is going to loop around like this. And I'm going to catch the end there like that with that glue dot, and let's see if I can get another glue dot to hold it in place. So we've got our lovely gold there. Well, it's actually copper colour. So, and I got to fold that, didn't I? There's the fold there. So don't forget to fold your card first. So there's the first bit. Then what we're going to do, we're going to, same as we did before, I've lined up this stamp. So this one says, "You make my heart smile." So I'm going to pop that on there, and using my grids again. And my ink. Making sure it's all covered. And then I'm going to line that up. Pop it down there. Again, hold it for, it's probably about 30 seconds. I know one of my Stampin' Up colleagues came up with a rhyme. I can't remember it, but it's something like her name. So say, "Jilly Rickards is amazing, Jilly Rickards is amazing, Jilly," and then you have to say that so many times. I can't remember how many times now, but I reckon it's about 30 seconds, and then you lift it off, and "You Make Me Smile" is on there. So then with my glue dots, I'm actually going to put my little flower onto the sentiment there. It's still got a bit of a glue dot there going on, but that'll be fine. And then this will go up on dimensionals. So again, I'd put 1, 2, 3. So if you put it there, you can see the gold is coming up and down there. And then you're going to put your, so take these off here, and you pop that under there, and this one here. Mine's slightly lower than, mine is slightly lower. I've got my sentiment a bit lower, but I think you'll agree that it's very, very pretty. So there's that one. So you don't have to make them identical to, you don't have to use the same flowers that they've used on each one, but I'm just showing you how they sort of made it. Again, they would have made a bow and on theirs, I'm sure, but I find it easier to just wrap it round, put glue dots on it, and just make it look like a bow should be, as opposed to it being a definite bow, because you're not going to see a proper bow with a sentiment above it anyway. So there you go, there's number 2. And again, you can pop your leaves. You could just do a whole line of leaves if you wanted to along the bottom, or flowers, whichever is your preference. Okay, so the final card, again, I've done one earlier, how Stampin' Up made it. So that's the one, the final one that we need to make of the 4. So that's the one that I made, copying exactly what Stampin' Up did. However, again, I don't necessarily want to send a day to remember. These days, I don't know if we have many of those days to remember, apart from the word lockdown. But so I thought, well, do you know what? I'm going to see if just a little note will fit, and it fits perfectly. So a little, you know, you can use a little note if you didn't want to use a day to remember. So that little stamp, which is part of the kit, fits lovely in there as well. So you can make this card into just a note instead of a day to remember. So I stamped that earlier just for time, really. Don't want the video to go on too long. Also, again, you know, this is the shape of the vellum and copper piece that we're using. So again, because it's vellum and the glue dots will show through, so I just put them on the side that's going to be covered most. So basically all that side you're not going to see any glue dots because there's a lot going on here. So you don't put any here because you'd see them shine through. So I did that. That's one I did earlier. So I'm going to pop this down onto here. So that's the first step. So the second step is on the back of your sentiment, you are going to put some ribbon. So there's the ribbon, and it's just really just tucked round. So what you do is, if you pop some glue dots on the back, just to one side, and then you take your ribbon. So you have a bit that goes over, and just stick that to the back, and then make a little loop so it's going to come out the other side. Doesn't have to look pretty on the back. And then stick that down, and then you can stick it over there again. So now we're going to have a little loop that goes this way. We're going to stick that down, and then just have a little piece that comes down there. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop that down. Now, no, it doesn't look pretty, but you're not going to see this bit. So I'm going to pop another glue dot in the middle there to hold that down. So what you're going to see is this. So I'm just going to cut the end off here. So you've got a little bit, we can trim it down afterwards. Then I'm going to pop dimensionals on the back. So I'll pop each corner. Put one in there. Probably pop one just in the middle there. So if you take the dimensional backs off there, and then you know that. So if you just pop your flower, you haven't got any dimensions on there yet. So you pop your flower, you want your flower to sort of go like about there. So with that in mind, then you want to see, where do I want my sentiment? So we pop the sentiment just up there. And then put some dimensionals on the back of your flower. So again, your leaves are probably going to tuck up. I'm going to try and get one underneath and then these two on top. See how that goes. So you want your dimensionals on the bottom end, not on the top end, because you don't want it stuck right up in the air above that. Let's just see how that looks. No, we need some more over here. So I would then tuck that through there. You want to be able to see all the words. So that tucks nicely, that leaf tucks nicely under there with a bit of gold, copper coming down there. So I'm happy with how that is. So I just take the dimensional backs off there. So I think this, I feel like it's a bit long, so I'm going to just pop that like that, pop that down like that, and you've got, and that is your finished card. So even that didn't take too long. And you've got just a little note, and then again you can do exactly the same as we did in the first one that I showed you by putting some leaves or little flowers or something inside. You can even, if you've got spare, there is actually some spare leaves. Stampin' Up are very generous, so you can make more cards, but you could also just pop a little leaf inside if you wanted to, like so, because we've got some spare leaves, and we've actually got some spare little flowers as well. So if you wanted to, you could just put a little leaf down there with a flower, and you could finish it off like that. Just stick it in with your glue dots. You've got plenty of glue dots left as well, and you could have that in the corner. So you know, there's plenty of things that you can do with you know, to make them a little bit different. Okay, so that is the kit. So you have that card there, that card there, and this one here. So I'm sure you'll agree that there's some very beautiful cards. And you get the kits, and it's £30 for the whole kit. So you make 12 cards, £30 plus postage and packing. If you wanted to buy the kits, you can go to my website, which is www.gilliescreativecorner.co.uk, and go to my shop. Okay, I hope you enjoy this video. It is my first, so hopefully there will be many more. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.